What's up, everybody? I just finished another book in the original Goosebumps series. This is Piano Lessons Can Be Murder. I have two copies of this book. Really want to show them off. I have the original copy here, and I also have this 2003 reprint edition that came out. I think these are the only two, editions of this book available. I mean, other than, a book club edition or something, hardcover or something, but, yeah. I remember owning this book as a kid, and this was the first 7 books that I owned, and I never got around to reading it until much later in my collection history. And I mainly didn't read it because I thought that the front cover of this book just looked really boring. I didn't think it was Tim Jacobus's best artwork. I mean, it's not bad, but based on what happens in this book, I think there was a lot of other things that could have happened. But props to not spoiling it. I do know that people say that this kind of spoils a scene that happens in the book, and this does happen, but you don't know the context, so I mean, you know, even I still don't really understand the context of this book, but yeah. I remember reading this book when I was in 3rd grade and thinking the ending was so great. I don't remember the build up as a kid, and I really didn't remember much of any of the stuff in the house. I remember this kid being slightly like a prankster and stuff. So yeah, the story follows this kid named Jerry who is a prankster. He lives with his mom and dad. They just moved to this new town, and they're unloading boxes, and he ends up climbing up the attic and finding this piano. His dad sees it. He thinks it's really like a gorgeous piano, and he says that he wants to teach him how to play it, or wants to hire somebody to teach him how to play it, and tells him, you need to buckle down and learn how to do this or whatever. So yeah, he finds this newspaper article with this guy named Dr. Shriek, and Dr. Shriek is this guy that comes to your house to teach you how to play piano, and if you're good enough, you get to go to a school. So that night he's in bed sleeping, and he starts hearing piano music, somebody playing the piano. At first he thinks it's this cat that he owns named Bonkers, who is very mean, and yeah. So he goes to sneak to see who is playing this piano, and nobody's there. Eventually the piano gets moved down, and Dr. Shriek does show up, and he is this guy that looks like Santa Claus, and this is where this book gets kind of crazy. I do remember this a lot as a kid, and Dr. Shriek comes in, and he sees Jerry's hands, and I think that he's not in front of his parents when he does this, because if he is, red flag, but he caresses Jerry's hands and tells them that he has excellent hands, and he's just mesmerized by them. It's very weird. So the teacher starts teaching Jerry how to play piano, and Jerry still begins to hear music playing in upstairs. He tells his parents. His parents does not believe him that there's anything going on upstairs. Yeah, so he ends up getting good enough to go to Dr. Shriek's school, despite this guy being very weird. He goes to the school, and he is introduced to Mr. Toggle, who is this robotic engineer kind of guy. He's also a janitor, and he runs into this floor sweeper. He goes there, he practices some more. He sees all these conductors and different things like that. He comes back home, and eventually he sees who is playing this piano. And I'm not going to say much about it, but it's very cool, very good. This person or thing or whatever tells Jerry to stay away from Dr. Shriek, and or mainly to stay away from the piano and different things like that. And yeah, and that's really all I'm going to leave. I know this is kind of a vague review because I don't really want to give much away. Because I think you should go into this as blind as possible and just read this for what it is. Because this book is one of the more out there Goosebumps books. This isn't something just like a werewolf or a monster or whatever. This is just something entirely different. It's a little mixture of two different, I guess you'd say, subgenres, I guess. But yeah. Piano Lessons Can Be Murder is one of my favorite Goosebumps books, even to this day. I do have some issues with it, and that's mainly the ending, and mainly it's just one issue, and that is the reveal of why a certain thing is needed, because I feel like there's a plot hole, and I feel like maybe if I wasn't paying attention, maybe I glossed over it or something, but yeah, there's a big plot hole in this book that you you really you really don't have to have a certain thing because another thing already has it. I know. Very vague, but yeah. Piano Lessons Can Be Murder is still a great book. I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. Very creepy. I do want to point out this is a snowy type book, like in January or February or something like that. I don't think it actually says what time of the year it takes place, but there's plenty of snow. This guy shoveling snow. There's also a scene where he's shoveling snow and this girl comes across the street and he says that he is going to Dr. Shriek's school and she straight up takes off running. Yeah, I forgot to mention that earlier, but Piano Lessons Can Be Murder is a 4 out of 5 star book, in my opinion. Not perfect, but really good. And yeah, I think that's it for me, guys. Please let me know in the comments below, what did you think about Piano Lessons Can Be Murder? Is it one of your favorite books in the series? Is it one of your least favorite books in the series? Yeah, I think that's it for me, guys. Bye.